Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you love MMA as much as I do. Today I'm going to talk about my 4 fighters that would go on my MMA Mount Rushmore. I'm going to start with number 4, 4 being the least, number 1 being the best of them all, in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion. I've watched MMA for about 20 years or more, so I know quite a good bit about it. I've seen a lot of highlights. I've seen a lot of good fights. I've seen a lot of finishes, and I know accomplishments that everybody's had. I know where they've done it and who all they've beaten. So those things go into my consideration. All right, number 4, I have to go with Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. Demetrious Johnson's number 4 for me because he was very successful in the UFC. He was a world champion that defended his title so many times. Now, the only knock that a lot of people have against him is he didn't really beat any high-caliber fighters. That's not his fault. I mean, he beat what was there in the UFC to offer. Now, he did actually finish off Henry Cejudo, who Henry, was the guy that beat Demetrious Johnson. And I think the UFC kind of did him dirty. They traded him to one fighting championship to get Ben Askren. And Demetrious Johnson went on to have a legendary career at ONE FC. He won the world championships over there. He got knocked out. But he knocked the guy out that knocked him out. And then he beat him again by decision in a trilogy fight. And then he capped off his career with being inducted into the ONE FC Hall of Fame. I would love to see him be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. He definitely belongs on my list. Number 3, I have to go with Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva, the GOAT of the middleweights in MMA history. It's not Israel Adesanya. I know Izzy beat Anderson Silva, but he beat him way past his prime. Anderson Silva was so experienced. He has a very good Muay Thai striking ability. He's won fights by dominating guys and beating them by decision. He won fights by knocking them out within the first, second round when he won every he wanted to. He was able to submit guys early in fights. He was able to get beat up most of a fight with Chael Sonnen and came back to still win the fight by submission late in the 5th round to keep his belt with a huge comeback win. The guy, again, most title defenses in UFC middleweight division history. The GOAT, the greatest of all time. He took fights at light heavyweight and was winning those fights. And he took a fight against Daniel Cormier on a 2 or 3 day notice, whatever it was, when John Jones couldn't fight Daniel Cormier because of his failed drug test. Speaking of John Jones, I have John Jones at number 2. And no, I'm not put because of what everyone else is saying about him ducking Tom Aspinall, being scared to fight Tom Aspinall. Y'all already know my opinion on that. I'm not going to go through it again. If you want to see it, go through my channel and my TikTok to see it for yourself. He is, without a doubt, the greatest light heavyweight of all time. I would love John Jones' chances against anybody of any generation. Whether it's heavyweight or light heavyweight, I would love his chances. I think he would do very well. Look at the resume, the guys he beat. People talk about the age gaps, but the guys he beat were still winning at the time. Rampage Jackson was still winning and still relevant at the time. Lyoto Machida, still winning. He was coming off a knockout of the year caliber victory over Randy Couture, who was a Hall of Famer. Former UFC champion. He beat Chael Sonnen. He has beaten Gustafsson twice. He's beaten DC twice. He's beaten Stipe Miocic. He's beaten Cyril Gane, a former interim champion. He's beaten everybody. He never lost a fight. My greatest of all time would be Fedor Emelianenko. He never fought in the UFC. But the guys he beat were UFC champions. Andrei Arlovsky, Tim Sylvia, Minotauro Nogueira twice, who was the first Pride champ and actually took his Pride belt from him and kept it until the company was bought by the UFC. Mark Hunt, a former K1 Grand Prix champion. Mirko Cro Cop in a fight of the decade caliber fight. And I forget to mention, he beat Cro Cop with a broken hand and walked him down and beat him, dominated him. Well, it wasn't dominant. It was a great fight, but he was clearly better and beat him at his own game. Beat him standing up, got in his face, and beat him up pretty bad the whole fight, even though it was competitive. That's what I meant to say. Kevin Randleman, Mark Coleman. The list goes on and on and on. This guy was a Pride champion, the last Pride heavyweight champion. He beat Frank Mir. I forgot to mention that. Rampage Jackson at heavyweight. He's beaten everybody, and he went 10 years, a decade undefeated. And there's no controversy on him. I'm not talking about drug test controversy, but he has had no negative drama or anything else about him. And actually, the one guy I would not want John Jones to have a fight with a heavyweight, I don't think he would have beaten their prime, was Fedor Emelianenko. Because Fedor Emelianenko had it all. Knockout power, vicious ground and pound. He could submit you. You could beat him up for a while. He comes back and still finds a way to beat you. You could put him in any dangerous spots. He still found a way to win when he was at his prime. And even in 2021, where he was in his 40s, he still knocked a guy out that was a lot younger than him at Bellator to get another title shot at Ryan Bader. Now, we all know how that went. But for those reasons, with all the titles, with the resume, Fedor is the GOAT. Yes.